Chainsaw Man has become one of the biggest sensations in manga and anime. If you have only watched the anime so far, beware of spoilers. This might appear to you at first impression as a regular show about devils and devil hunters, with the protagonist being a half-devil. Not like that has ever been made before, right? But in reality, that's just how it presents itself through an absurd mockery of a manga cliché. The more you read and watch Chainsaw Man, you realize it's not a fighting shonen, but a slice of life type of manga. Tatsuki Fujimoto's works are definitely a special breed. It's not for everyone, but everyone that has read one of his mangas can't deny how talented of a person he is, if he's even a person to begin with. From the odd fire punch to the tear-jerker Goodbye Eri, his absurd take on everything is definitely what has made most of his stories unique and his characters what they are, and Chainsaw Man might be one of the best examples of this. The way he has created such iconic characters for such a young series is definitely something admirable. From the likes of Power, Aki, Makima, Beam, Kobeni's car, they are just so iconic. And it's not only the character building and human connections that are built between these characters throughout the show that draws us to them, but even the artistic design tends to draw us more into the storyline of Chainsaw Man. Fujimoto has proven to himself and to everyone that he is a really talented artist, borrowing elements from Western media to achieve a really original art style and a way to portray human expressions that mangas had never seen before. But his artistic vision does not stop there. I know at the beginning I mentioned how Chainsaw Man is not a fighting shonen, but that's the way it disguises its true meaning. The thing is that the fact that it's just a small part of the series doesn't mean it doesn't take it seriously, because Fujimoto has broken every rule of how a shonen fight should be like. Not only are Denji's motives and edginess what shifts the tone of every fight, but how original and changing every encounter with every single devil is. The first devils encountered by Denji accomplish the basic needs of a minor fight in a shonen, but the more you read, you start seeing how he takes the topic of fierce as devils to the next level. When we're presented with this concept, we might think, oh, so they'll just be stronger and bigger, and so Denji will have to become stronger. And that's where Chainsaw Man shifts the concept. You see, they don't just become stronger, but their abilities depend on the name they have, and not in the most logical way. The Eternity Devil, for example, depicts the human fear of eternity, and this is portrayed as an endless hotel. Very straightforward. Then you have the Future Devil, who lets Aki see the future when making a contract with him. The Ghost Devil has invisible ghost arms, Makima is related to dogs and training, Beam can swim through walls, and so on. Then we start seeing things like the Cursed Devil. In the anime, this is not translated properly, since it just appears to be a summon. But the manga breaks the fourth wall, placing the fingers as something outside the frame. The anime did its best at translating this type of scene that Fujimoto nailed in the manga, but this is something that just doesn't translate to a TV show. If you have delved into the Chainsaw Man fandom, you might have come across this frame of the Darkness Devil. Before I continue, I have to tell you, I read this arc high, and at first I thought this was trippy because of my state. But when I reread this chapter sober, it hit even harder. I don't have the words to explain the experience the Darkness Devil gave me, so I encourage everyone to experience it for themselves. For context, we are in the International Assassins arc, where we are introduced to the Doll Devil, who turns people into puppets, becoming part of the hive mind. The whole purpose of the Doll Devil is to make a contract with the Darkness Devil, and get a fraction of its power. When the gang is in the building, the contract begins and the whole plot of the arc shifts. A giant six-finger hand grabs everything, and the Hell Devil transports everyone to Hell, which is portrayed as planes with thousands of doors filling up the sky. This is actually inspired by a French film, Ancien Andalou, with the hand being walked over by ants, and something that I'm going to explain furthermore in a second. The fiends are scared to death by the scent of a primal fear. Devils who have never experienced death before. Basically, our most common and innate fears. And then a door opens with a single droplet of dark goo falling onto the ground, drawing a distant shadow. This is the moment I was left speechless. What follows has many interpretations due to motion being absent in the following panels, showing no words but still frames of the things that are happening. We are shown an astronaut praying, representing the fear of the vast void of darkness that surrounds our world, followed by the most iconic panel in the whole manga. This is not only how this devil gets introduced to us, but primal fears as a whole concept. A line of praying astronauts cut in half, with blood showing signs of their bodies sliding on the ground. This scene is filled with darkness, but when we turn to the gang, the lighting is well lit but dimming, so the actual presence and physical location of everything is not something literal, but something you begin interpreting. A frog is shown. This is not something that's unseen with the characters. This frog is in front of you, showing you that in the ribbit, he's going to pull the strings of this entire manga. As the frog ribbits, darkness can be seen filling the background progressively. We jump into a frame with all the characters armless, no cuts, nothing relatable to real harm, just their bodies being manipulated in this plane of existence. The darkness devil shows itself, naked bodies below the dark coat that hid in the dark, stacked on top of each other, supported by their interconnected arms. At the top, a sharp metallic-looking face, similar to that of previous devils. Our manga becomes a part of the devil's doing. The arms become the frames of this scene. Imagine just having beaten strong foes, proving your strength and dedication, just to be confronted by a being that is switching your entire reality through a fourth wall you cannot see. When this fight begins, everyone just gets split apart. No movement from this devil. The darkness that filled our background turns out to be the devil's coat, something his presence engulfs the cast of characters in. The violence devil attacks, and darkness speaks in words we cannot comprehend, piercing violence, who doesn't give up, ending up impaled by the darkness sword. Chiming with bells, every attack being followed by silence, and a quiet noise that can be heard throughout this void. Now let me ask you, how would you animate this? How could you portray with moving images the uncertainty of motion? How can you bend the frames of your device to be part of the attack of this devil? How could you translate one of the most iconic pieces of media ever written into an animated TV show for the masses? This might be one of the weakest devils in Chainsaw Man fanfiction. Nonetheless, I present to you the Fear of the Untranslatable. This is something that can be seen throughout a lot of media. Books like House of Leaves or Lovecraft's horror, comic book characters like Deadpool who play with the reader, or even video games that play with the player, like the Stanley Parable. There are so many good pieces of media that break the molds that hold them as the media they are. The problem with animation and cinema is that there's only so many ways you can break the fourth wall without having a VR set or interactive movies. That's why literature is not as enclosed as it seems. These works are proof that nothing can compare to breaking the fourth wall in a piece of paper, which cannot be translated to a motion picture. And this, fellas, is why I am scared of what Chainsaw Man animators will have to do after the next arc, with the movie just being announced. I really love what they have done with the anime, but we have to understand as consumers of this TV show that they will not be able to portray this as we might want to. So let's take this into account. Just try to see this as a reason to read more manga, because there are some things that just cannot be shown in an anime. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this type of content, please subscribe and share it with your friends. Having people listening and watching this video means the world to me, and I am eternally grateful for everyone stopping by to watch and listen to me. My name's Juicy, and I'll see you later.